Moors, I'm hot today. It's a hot day. Y'all got me working hard. I can't even see myself on this platform.
I don't want today.
I can't even see myself. I haven't been on a Facebook Live in a minute.
I can see myself.
I haven't said anything to you, Moors, in a long time. Let me share this. Make sure I share this
I can't see myself.
before I start, huh?
I can't see myself.
No, I wanted to share it to a group. Can I do that? No. How the heck? Come, I can't share. Give me a minute, y'all. I'm agitated today. Islam, Rodney, Hamilton, L. How are you doing today? Moorish is getting on my nerves today. How come I can't do it in a group? Moorish. Nope. They be changing up everything on Facebook. Can y'all post this to the platforms, please? I can't do it from where I'm sitting. I can't post this to the platforms. Can y'all post it to Islam, Alicia Bay? Can y'all post this to the Northeast group as well as the public notice group if you don't mind posting this platform? I would definitely appreciate it. I get a lot of calls, Moors. I get a lot of calls from a lot of Moors, and I try to do a platform to alleviate some of that calling. And other Moorish organizations all around the world could assist this platform as it relates to us coming together to kind of under one umbrella, which is the Moroccan Empire. So everybody places on their lawful documents the Moroccan Empire as it relates to us having unity. So one thing we have to understand is our unity is the fact that we're all operating in our nobility and in our status, right? Our status as the heirs to the land, to Asia, to all of Asia, right? All of Earth. I was like, but we focus wherever you domicile. Your focus primarily is on wherever you're domiciling near, corporate territory you're domiciling near. So I'm at the North Gate. So primarily my focus is on the North Gate, and it is encourageable for Moors all over the empire, which is south, west, north, east, the adjoining islands, the other islands, like that's all Morocco. We are everywhere, right? And it is very important for us to establish consulates all over our dominions. Islam, we have to do that as a nation because the purpose and the necessity for it is because as we're awakening back into ourselves, we're operating in our nobility. And Moors, one thing we have to understand is that we're the ones that stepped away. We're the ones that stepped away from our nativity. We're the ones that agreed to be identified as these Inzalegas, as these Namdagirs, as property of the so-called corporate United States. And we did that ignorantly. We did that with false presumptions that nobody clarified for us. But the reality is the individuals that were supposed to clarify these things are our mother. You cannot change the status of a child without changing the status of the mother. If anybody has read the Law of Peace, the Iroquois Confederacy Constitution amongst the indigenous tribes of North America, the original Confederacy, if you understand what who had the authority within that empire, under those tribal affiliations, who appointed, who commissioned, it was mother, it wasn't son. The mothers are the government. Moms are the government. They established that order. They started in the womb. You cannot change your descendability. You are who your mother is, no matter what misconceptions, Moors, y'all may have. And understand, we're the ones that came out of the constitutional fold of government. We're the ones that decided to be not ourselves, right? We decided that. Our ancestors decided that. For whatever reason, that is what happened, right? So your mother, it is impressed upon you to enlighten your mothers, because the reality is the status of the child is the status of the mother. So if the child is black or the mother is black, the child is black. And black only meaning as it terms social status, not skin color. Your social status is black, and what that says is I have no status as it relates to any organized body politic operating on earth. I am outside of that. So anybody or any nation that is within a constitutional and international laws of the empire can claim you, because you didn't do your due diligence by claiming yourself, right? So one thing we have to understand is that we're the ones who stepped out of nationality. We're the ones who stepped away from who we are in favor of what we thought was better, or what we only knew about because of us not having our own, even though we operate all of the empire as it relates to the Nam de Gears and the Enslegas, that they had to establish in order to establish order. So in order to establish order, everybody, all these other nations had to create a system to deal with the heirs who didn't want to operate it in their nobility. Forget why they stopped operating in their nobility. That's the reality. Now we're coming back into constitutional folds of government, and I have to educate individuals who don't even not know this. I've had many calls by Moors sending me notice of removals as the Supreme Judiciary, one of the Supreme Judiciaries of the Northeast, sending me documents that I can't even validate and I can't even do anything with, because certain individuals decided to change language. They just decided to sit here and make a change based on no facts, right? And I'm talking about this lowercase lettering that is going to always be an issue, because Moors are followers. And when I say Moors are followers, I'm meaning all of my brothers and sisters who decided to make a conscious decision to go against what they already knew within their own selves, right? By lowercase lettering their appellation. So when I see your documents, what are you representing? I can't understand why I'm still talking about this. And when a Moor calls me and contacts me as it relates to the lowercase lettering and their documents, the first thing I said is, do you realize when I read your documents, because I peruse them, when I read your documents, you're in controversy with your own document. You're in controversy with your own document. And I can see that because at one point you'll put it in proper English, at another point you'll put it in lowercase red lettering, and then at another point you'll put it in all caps. So you don't even know what to do. But it's your conscience. It is you who knows that you're not supposed to be writing it in that all lowercase lettering. The one thing that Albion did teach you is how to write your name. Taught you proper English as it relates. So when you sit here and go and send lawful documents, we taught them that they are to operate proper English. When you're speaking in English, do it properly. You don't know. Most Moors don't know Arabic. Most Moors don't know Spanish, which is vulgar Latin. And Latin comes from our original tongue, which was what? Which was Arabic, right? Which is just a language. It's not a group of people. There is no Arabs. There's no such thing as Arab people. Only such thing as an Arab language. The Arabic language, right? So when we're talking about language, we can't even speak properly the language that we're speaking. We can't write properly the language that we speak. So now we're letting lawful documents represent us to the negative. Because we have been told, again, following, because our spirit tells us this is not proper. And you want to know why? Because you learned one way, and as you're autographing, your soul or spirit is telling you to do it the right way. It's telling you to do it the right way. You have to literally change your thinking in order to do it the wrong way. Right? So I say this when Moors contact me and I say, well, I can't do anything with your documents because I care about you. I care how you present yourselves in your lawful documents. Right? If you look at if you go back to the 1800s, you can go back. Hey, that's not kicked in. That's not in any of our lawful documents, y'all. And y'all can't even use Latin because Latin's a whole nother language. You're using English. The English language says what? Proper noun is what? A person, place, or a thing, right? How do you operate? How is a thing distinguished between a person, a living being? And we're not talking about 14th non-amendment persons. We're talking about man. Okay? I'm not talking about the so-called corporate person, which is in the all caps. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about man, which is the original etymological definition of a person, is a man. And man is both masculine and feminine energy. How many times do I have to say this to you, Morris? So if you're not going to correct your documents before you send them to me, why are you sending them to me? Because I can't I can't misconstrue things to fit my agenda because I don't have an agenda. My goal, my will and intent, which is what I've been declaring since I've declared my nationality, is to get back into the constitutional fold of government and to operate it in my nobility and to manage and claim my estate, all of which I've already done. Right? So let's talk about what was the purpose of the ens legis and the nom de guerre, the name. Why was it established, Moors? Do you understand the power that you have that you won't even tap into because you have been so ostracized in your own nation that you feel as though you need to ask everybody everything. And because our people have been conditioned to follow, they won't even do the research to edify themselves as to, does this make sense? And when we talk about does this make sense, it means to say, is that common? Common sense. Are we all doing the exact same thing? Common sense. Right? When Albions created the ens legis and the nom de guerre, what did they say? Why did they create it? Because they could not operate as you. They had to create a fake you because you would not be you and administer and oversee your own estate. Mommy gave that responsibility to the corporate state, not knowing that she did it. That's not a contract she could enter into. That's not even a binding and an enforceable contract. You want to know why it's not? One, because she was at a legal disability to do it. But more importantly, can you be held to a contract that you didn't authorize? One. Two, if that contract was binding on you, why are they not putting it in the record as to their jurisdiction over you? Because they know slavery is against the law. And they know, excuse my French, your mothers never consented to that nom de guerre and you being placed in wardship status as a thing, as a res in the trust of an organization that didn't have the authority to establish it to begin with because of their legal disability. When did they become a legal disability? When we became an actual legal status heir. That's how. Prior to Moors operating in their nobility, no one had the right. No one had the right to tell them anything because you're a product. You're a product. So when you're doing your nationality documents and you're doing your lawful claims as heirs, how are you going to sit here and to be received in your nobility when you can't even write your own appellation in proper English, when you're directing a Moorish subject to do something that you're requiring them to do lawfully? How can you command somebody when you yourself is at a disadvantage knowledge-wise as to what their responsibilities are? If your responsibility, you have shirked that responsibility by not knowing how to fill out a form or an affidavit, which is what a form is. All of them are affidavits, right? I had people contacting me as it relates to organizing in different venues. Do they need to get seals and do they need to get affiliations. Well, if you're not operating as a government in your own right, absolutely you need to have that support system. How can you operate without it? Moors, we're the ones learning or relearning or tapping into our Kundalini ancestral knowledge of self, because ain't nothing new under the sun as it relates to us. Absolutely nothing. You're tapping into what you already know. That's why this lowercase letter, and I don't know how you bit that apple, that poison from a tree that's poisonous. It's not a tree of knowledge. I asked Moors, it's like, it's hard for me to reconcile me doing this. And one of the things that they say is because someone from the Moorish American consulate told me this was how I had to do it. Moors, we are sovereign in our own right. And even we got to understand we're not all operating in our nobility with competencies. Right? I was like, your own wearing turbans and fezzes. This is what the prophet said. Your own wearing turbans and fezzes is going to put you back into slavery. And it's going to be your willful obedience to subjecting yourselves to someone you did not validate and substantiate. Because how we coming outside of the corporate construct, we're coming outside of being a resident, which is a thing. We're coming back into our nobility. And the first thing we think makes sense to change is language, which we don't even know how to properly execute. How you doing this, Moors? You're coming back into the constitutional folds of government, and you think the first thought that you want to do is spell somebody, and you can't even spell properly. We posted so many things on the platform to give you an idea as to how to operate in your nobility. But guess what? Why did they teach you English properly as it relates to your so-called name? Why? Answer that. I want somebody in this platform to tell me, why did they have to do that right? Why did they have to tell you how to write and sign your name, or the name that you were given at birth by your mom, and they incorporated as a resident within their trust? So when you were born, your mother signed documents but she was at a legal disability to do anything, because you cannot sign, autograph, or commit any binding documents if you are not in the legal capacity to do it. It has to be in your own proper person. If you don't know anything about contract law, there are so many platforms out there that have the what you need to know in contracts, the 10 things, I can't recall what the essential things in contract law that you need to know. Your mom could never give you away to a corporation. And even if she did that willfully when you were born, that contract ceased to exist when she died, or when you became of age, right? Age of responsibility, age of maturity. But Moors, are you at that age just because you've increased in so-called years or cycles on this earth? No, it's a status of mind, how you're operating mentally as it relates to who you are. I have so many Negro, colored, and black people try to debate with the undebatable. And do you understand how nauseating it is, how annoying it is to talk to my brothers and sisters who I love dearly, and they're at a legal disability and a mental defect, to understand what it is that I am saying, and won't lift a finger or tap on a key on a laptop or a cell phone that everybody has access to validate or substantiate anything that I'm saying. And I can't be really long on this platform because I'm only on 15% battery life. I felt it necessary to come on here and to state some things to Moors. Because Moors, you are sovereign in your own right. They know this. That's why they had to create an ens legis that is called you. They had to create that because they know who you are. You don't know who you are. And they're going to play this game of ignorance and stupidity and try to make it seem like the things that you're doing lawfully are illegal. It's absolutely not. You're doing the legal thing that you haven't done your whole entire life. You're taking from an organization that never had the right to have you within it. But at the same time, it is not their fault. They had to create something to deal with the fact that Moors will refuse to be themselves and to operate their vast estate. So they had to create these nom de guerres to manage it for you. And in those years of disobedience, well, of course they're going to get worse. Of course they're going to get worse. Of course they're going to get worse at how they react to you and how they treat you. Because over time, they forget who the heck you are. Because there was nobody to make sure those checks and balances were being dealt with. Because it is all Moors' responsibility to be acting in their fiducial responsibility to make sure they're enforcing the Constitution, which is a platform we established and we can demolish and we can terminate and we can give new directives, because just like we know, all who have lost their nationality and are at a legal disability and don't know their nationality are automatically Moorish subjects ipso jure, no matter what you think or no matter what you feel. So what am I saying? I'm saying, Moors, y'all have to learn. Y'all have to get tap into what is already there, because there's nothing new under the sun. But if you're not operating at a way of clarity, if you're not operating in your nobility, you need to get around like-minded individuals. Like I said, we have classes on Tuesday, console classes on Tuesday. It's for all Moors. And we have to have that because Moors need to know how to operate. And if we're dealing with a mental defect that we've cleared up, right, we still have some issues as how to operate in our nobility, right? But if you're having classes and the first thing, your status wasn't the first thing that was corrected, I have an issue with that. You can't do anything until you correct that. So anybody establishing these things, okay, as well as governments, right? Operating as a government. Your seal is your thumbprint. Moors, your seal is your thumbprint. That validates you autographed that lawful document. Nobody can fraud that document. Nobody can do it, right? Because you autographed it. It came from your domicile. You certified it. So it has a starting point, a point, and an ending point. All of these things can be validated. But you definitely need to get it stamped and sealed by a government. Because you need that assistance in that umbrella. We're all under the Moroccan Empire. Why would you want to be out there in the wing by yourself? Especially with the legal disabilities you just clarified. And that was just the first step, nationalizing. But not as soon as you declare and proclaim your nationality, the first thing you trying to do is lean organizations so you can get things. But no, there's steps and levels to this. A lot of steps and levels. The Albions have been your caretakers while you were at these legal disabilities. And the reality is, I know that's hard to understand and hard to appreciate because they've been horrible to our people. But that's how they've been operating as your caretaker. They ain't been doing a great job at it, but that's what responsibility your mother gave them through that commercial contract that she never knew she signed, but it was still bound and bonded to her because she never corrected the record to reflect who you are, who she is, and how we were supposed to interact. She never stood up to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, all of these things. I'm saying these things because I love you, Moors, and I want you to stop falling into traps because you're so used to being told what to do. The law is supposed to give you the, knowing the law and operating in your nobility is supposed to give you the power, the strength, and the knoweth-all on how to operate. And as a supreme judiciary, it's my responsibility to give you right and truthful information as it comes to me. And I can't sanction the incompetencies as it relates to the lowercase lettering. And nor should any other Moorish organization be pushing that. But at the same time, we have to also understand that everybody who is a Moorish American national ain't for their people. Just like Prophet Noble Jew Ali said, the people who was for me then gonna be for me now. The people who was against me then gonna be against me now. We're fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for our minds to control this. What we see, what we feel, what we taste, what we touch. That's what you're regaining control over. You. Don't give nobody dominion over you. You operate in your nobility, but you got to at least declare, proclaim yourself, show and improve, and get the information that you need to get in order to navigate. We are from one empire. A lot of us are doing things differently. That doesn't mean that we have to be separated or divide, or that has to be a divide between us. There's a multitude of so-called groups or so-called departments that we can establish for all these things that we might not necessarily agree with. But why are we disagreeing on law? Law is universal. Law doesn't need to be debated. It is what it is. It says what it says. Now, if you're not interpreting it appropriately, then we need to go back to some key fundamental etymological aspects of the language so we can get that clarity. But we shouldn't be sitting here everybody wanting to create all these different things. Why don't we all have unity? And why is that an issue? And getting back to the Iroquois Confederacy, the government is a government of women. We establish and commission our sons. It's not the other way around. Y'all got to know where people come from. They don't come from sons. They come from women. And you know that because you birth them. That's not a debate, y'all. Why y'all trying to debate where babies come from and who creates who? Are you serious? That shows you the mental defect, Morris. The fact that we can't even appreciate the fact that governments are run by women and women sanction and authorize everything that happens on this earth. Everything. So if we're sitting there on the couch acting like we ain't got responsibilities, that's why we have the government for which we have. Because Moorish women are still looking to be led by sons. They're not supposed to be leading us, baby. We create. We created them in the womb. We gave them whatever we gave them. So whatever came out, that's on us. Whatever came out and however they're operating, it's all on mother. It's on you. You can sit here and debate with it all you want. You can sit here and act like you are subject. You can sit here and act like all this because they're going to definitely rule you because they like that. They like that responsibility. You want to keep giving away your heirship. You want to keep giving away your bloodline. You want to keep giving away your think and then holding your hand out, waiting for somebody to give you something. That's your right as a sovereign to do. I don't think it's a great idea for you to do that. You see what happens to our women all over the world. You see what happens to our daughters because our sons is running around operating outside of you because you sitting there on the couch waiting for them to come home and give you. And I'm just using that as an analogy, y'all. Don't get all up in your feelings because we know Moors love to be in their feelings. Moors women are supposed to be operating in their nobility. The question you need to ask yourself: why aren't we doing that? Why are we always looking for somebody else and somebody else is staring you in the mirror like it's you? You're supposed to be doing this. Read the Iroquois Confederacy Constitution, Morris. The women dictated everything. They sanctioned, they terminated at will, right? So why are you operating outside of yourself? Why are all these Moorish organizations started by men? Just gonna say that for the record. And sons, why ain't you pushing your heirs, your heiresses, your empresses up? Why ain't you putting them in the front? Because that's where they belong. Governments are established by women because without women, governments could not even exist. Because you wouldn't be here. Our son's going to stay in dishonor until we get them out of that by operating in our nobility. Because the reality is they shouldn't have to be operating like they are operating. They're doing it because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Moors, women, empresses, you're supposed to be leading this charge. The true sovereign is the Moabite woman. She is the sovereign. Her sons are her subjects. Y'all can be mad at me for saying that all y'all want. I don't care. I can only tell you the truth based on nature. Nature tells you that everywhere you go. Look at nature. Just watch it. Watch the animals. What the sons be doing? What does the cubs be doing? I'm just going to sit here and say that. What the cubs be doing? What the sons be trying to do? Who be protecting the children? Without the children, there's no future. Without the future, there's no life. The sons is always right. They always shirking their responsibilities, even in the animal kingdom. Mom hunting, protecting. She got the whole clan. Why we ain't doing that today? Why aren't sons protecting their women, and why are women not honoring their sons? I'm just gonna say that, and I'm gonna get off this platform because I think I said what I needed to say. I'm not sure. Y'all let me know what I said. But don't send me your documents in all lowercase letter and send it in proper English, or send it to someone else. I'm just gonna be serious with that. I love you guys, but I'm not gonna sit here and play in this sandbox. I'm not playing in no sandboxes. So when you send me documents that I gotta call you. I'm going to have to. Or I'm going to send you documents back. Because we don't operate it like that. We don't operate like that. You got to stop being followers and lead. And the only way you can lead is by knowing how to lead. And the only way you can know how to lead is by knowing the law. Enforcing the Constitution, right? Y'all got to understand, and there's so much more I want to say, but I'll say it in the next class that we have. We have Tuesday's class for console training, and we may, which I think is necessary, have another class on Thursday for lean class. Going to have a clean class on Thursday. Going to have console class on Tuesday, and coming soon within the next 30 days, we'll have in-class teachings. In-class teachings. So I'm hoping that you'll travel to come and be a part of those in-class teachings for nationality, for all types of things. But those is coming up real soon. Islam? What else did I want to say? And the new mailing location it's new mailing location. It's not the old one for Havertown, PA. That is not the mailing location to send in your nationality documents. And all your nationality documents need to be certified, meaning tracked. Because we know what we're doing is affecting the entire world, because we are the heirs to the entire earth, and that's having an effect, if you haven't noticed. So they're messing with your packages that are coming here. Don't give them the opportunity by not sending it certified tracking. Islam? And if you have any questions, call the consulate 9. We may not answer the first time or the second time, but eventually we'll answer. Send a text message if we're taking too long, because we do have a lot of work to do. Islam, Pax more. Peace and love.